How does Microsoft help organizations trust the cloud with data, privacy, and security? The answer lies in the combination of transparency, compliances, and robust data protection practices. In today's session, you will explore Microsoft Service Trust Portal, core privacy principles, data security concept, transparency initiatives, and compliance fundamentals. So let's get started.
Hello everyone and welcome to our SC-900 series where we will be discussing the security fundamentals, how to take this course, how we can leverage ourselves in the security. So this particular session will be on the module number 4, where we will be discussing on the Microsoft Purview and Microsoft Purview. So before starting the session, let me introduce myself. My name is Nikita. I'm an MCT and delivering various training on different certifications like AI 900, SC-900, SC-200, SC-300, AZ-500, MS-1022 to various clients like Wipro, Accenture, TCS, Kyndryl, domestically also and internationally also. So in this particular session, we will be focused on Purview and Purview. So if I want to give a glimpse of it, it will be your information security. How your information security is working, how your data is classified, how your data is protected from transferring from one organization, maybe you're transferring to another organization, to your competitors, how the SOC people are working on information protection. So here we will be discussing on the Trust Portal and Microsoft Purview. So before starting on the Microsoft Purview, let's discuss what are the different privacy capabilities and why we need this. So when you join any of the organization, they ask you your details. So what do? You give your details, but if you think like these details can be dangerous. For example, I'm giving my Aadhaar card details, I'm giving my PAN card details to the organization, and they might misuse it. Or how I can build a trust on it. Let's say I'm working in Accenture, I'm working in a cloud that, or I'm working in any of the company and I'm giving my details, how I can trust those organization or how I can protect my information there. For that, every organization, when they go on the project or when they work, let's say Accenture and Cloud that are working together. So why Accenture or why Cloud that will share their details to each other, or how they are building the trust. So in building the trust, whether we are following all the rules and regulations, your trust portal come into the picture. That will be the Microsoft Trust Portal, which will tell you, okay, if you're working with healthcare, if I'm in the, let's say I'm working in a hospital and there I want my information to be trusted, to be compliant, I will be using HIPAA client. If I'm working in any of the organization, maybe then I will be going on GDPR. So there are various compliance tools, or we can say compliance methods, by which the organizations trust each other. So we will be discussing on different offerings, what are the different Microsoft privacy principles and Microsoft Purview. So Microsoft, as the name is saying, Microsoft Service Trust Portal, which will help you to build the trust between the organizations by publishing the reports, by the certifications, reports, and others. And how they do it with the help of the assessment. Just 1 minute. Yeah. What resources you are accessing. If I want to access the, let's say, virtual machine, or if I want to access any of the services on AWS, on Azure, or on any of the cloud platforms or any of the organization, I need to go through this Microsoft Trust Portal. How they are building the trust, how they are making the information compliant. So we'll see on the portal that there are different ways in which we can make the resources, we can make the information compliant. But before moving forward on the portal, we need to discuss all these pointers. First one is the control. So we can control, we can put the information in the way I want. Let's say I don't want PAN card or I don't want any of the details. I can easily control it. I can protect my information from going outside the organization. Whatever data I'm collecting, maybe from different organization or maybe from my customers, it is transparent. It's not like I'm hiding something from you. No, everything need to be transparent. Second is this, third one is the security. Whatever data is coming from you, from the customer, from the different organizations, for that data, security is the must. Because you give me the information, maybe I can manipulate that information, or maybe I can transfer it. Maybe let's say I combine with TCS. So when I'm working with TCS, maybe let's say its competitors Infosys. So being in cloud, that I can share the Infosys details to the TCS. So how I can control that thing, that if some user is trying to do it, they should be restricted in it. Legal protection. So it's not only the compliance that comes into the picture, legal is also there. So we need to follow the privacy laws, we need to follow all the rules and regulations, and the data need to be protected. So our overall agenda of privacy principles is that whatever I'm doing with information, that need to be transparent and that need to be protected. And for that, Microsoft Purview helps us. That what are the different, how your information is traveling from one place to another, doing the risk management, what your users are doing, what your employees are doing with that information, setting up the request. If someone is trying to do, let's say, you are doing something fishy, I can complain for the same. I can say that my information is not protected. My information is there on the cloud. So when you upload your information on the cloud, the agent of the cloud providers will be your information should be protected. For that, we are using Microsoft Purview to protect the organization's information from being uploaded on any of the site, from the data leakage, and from others also. And then now for that, we are doing the assessments. Now, if I take you to the portal and show you there, just give me one sec. Yeah, this is your service portal. Now you can also navigate here with the help of servicetrust.microsoft.com. Now to sign in this particular website, you need to be authenticated. It means you need to be have an intra ID. Now when I'm saying intra ID is nothing, it's an IAM tool which help you to give the identity. Now, you can be an ISO compliant, you can be a SOC 1, GDPR, which I have already told you. We are having PCI also when it comes to the credit payment cards. You can be a Singapore, MTCS, Australia, and so on. If we are going with the white papers and artifacts, we are having data protection. Now, under the data protection, you can see various things. Let it be loaded. Yeah. You can see its description when it's last loaded. So it will give you the documentation. And you need to use the documentation to say that my organization, or I'm following GDPR, or I'm following, let's say, PII, anything, but it need to be compliant. So whatever information you are using, whatever data you are using in the organization, all the resources, all your information need to be compliant. Now, once you are compliant, let's say I am GDPR compliant or I am PCI compliant, then my next agenda will be to secure that information. Now, how I can secure that information? Let's say I'm saying I'm GDPR compliant. Now, how my system will get to know that this information is private? Or if I have given, let's say, the employee information, how the system will recognize this is my sensitive information, or this information need not to be leaked outside. For that, we are using one of the Microsoft tool, which will be a Microsoft Purview. Now let me go in the OneNote. Now Microsoft Purview is one of your M365 service. Now you all know when we are using M365, what we need? We need license. Yes. So you will be required a dedicated license for using this Purview. And license, it's not enough. You will require role also. Now you can be a compliant administrator, or if you're working on the data loss, you can be a data loss administrator and so on, and work on their respective services. Now think of, let's say we are having John. He's working in the organization. Now, John is having the access, let's say he is working in HR department and he is having the access to the payrolls. And what he did, he transferred this information. Let's say he is working in the cloud that, and from cloud that he has transferred it to TCS. He can do that. No one is there to stop him. Similarly, let's take another example. Let's say I'm having Peter. He's working in cloud that only, but in the IT team. He's a developer. So he write a code and he pushed that code, or he transferred the code to Infosys. Might possible. No one is there to stop him. So how we can stop these kind of employees in the organization? But for stopping this, first your system should get to know, okay, this will be my payroll that I need to stop. This will be the code that I need to stop. So for that, first step of the Microsoft Purview will be your data classification. First, you need to tell that this is my credit card details, or this is the budget, or let's say this is the finance data. So first task of the Purview will be the data classification. Once your data is classified, then we need to move on the second step. Now, what can you think of a second step? Second step can be your data protection. Data protection in the sense your system has identified this is the credit card details, or this is my budget, this is the finance, this is let's say this is some legal reports. But how it can be protected? We can apply the labels. We can restrict the users. If someone is accessing budget files, he will only have the viewer level access. Or if someone is viewing your credit card details, he will only have the edit level access. If someone is reviewing your budget, he doesn't have the forward or reply options. So restricting the users or by applying the labels on the same. Then the third step will be the data loss prevention. Okay, labels are applied, your data is classified. Now, the third step of yours will be stopping those users from transmitting the information, maybe outside the organization, or maybe uploading on the any of the Gen AI tool. It can be a ChatGPT, it can be a Copilot, anywhere. That comes your data loss prevention. And the fourth one will be the, we can say, data governance or data lifecycle. Let's say John is there who was working with us for 5 years, and after 5 years, he leaves the organization. So what will happen to the data? Will it be deleted once the user left? No. We keep the data for its life cycle, how long the data should be there, maybe for the 5 years, maybe for the 2 years, 3 years, whatever life cycle you have set up, according to it, the data will be there in my system. So these are the 4 steps. First is your data classification. Second will be your data protection. Third will be its data loss prevention. And fourth will be the data governance or its life cycle. So we will be discussing all these 4 one by one. So let's move on the first one, which will be your data classification. Now, when I want to classify my information, let's say we are having credit card, debit cards, or I'm having budget, legal files, or some other information also. Now, for the data classification, there are two ways. Either you can go with SITs or you can go with trainable classifiers. Now, what is an SIT? SIT basically stands for sensitive information type. Now, when to use SIT or when to use trainable classifiers? First one is the SIT. As the name is saying, sensitive information type. SIT can be used when we have a regular pattern or a fixed data. Let's say I'm having credit card or I'm having Aadhaar card. So credit card will also be a 16-digit number. It's fixed. Aadhaar card will be also a 16-digit number. When you have a pattern, in that particular pattern, you want to classify it. In that particular scenario, we will be going with the SITs. When you are having the regular pattern, in that particular scenario, you can go with the SITs. And the second one is the trainable classifiers. When you don't have the pattern, like legal files, budget, or some contracts, in those scenarios, you will be not having any fixed pattern. In that case, you can go with the trainable classifiers. Now, how the trainable classifiers are built? They use machine learning. And the models are trained, and accordingly, it will work on your data. Now, let's go on the Purview portal, which is one of your information protection portal, we can say, or a data governance portal, from where you will be protecting your entire organization information. So let's navigate there. So you can also navigate to Microsoft Purview portal with the help of purview.microsoft.com. Now, when you come up here, first thing, you need to have the license, and the second is the role. Now, in my case, I have both the things, so I can easily navigate here. Now, all the things from the data classification till the data lifecycle, everything will be there in the solution section. You can see various things are there like your insider risk, information protection, discovery, DSPM, and so on. If you want to deep dive in this particular Purview, go with SC-401 certification. There you will be getting all the things from scratch till the end, how your information protection works. But in this course, it's not fundamental, so we will be just navigating via the options. So let me go first in the information protection. Now, when I come up here, I can see reports, I can see recommendations, sensitivity labels, and classifiers. So first task of ours will be the data classification. So let's go in the classifiers. And in the classifiers, you will be having trainable also and sensitive also. So let's navigate to sensitive. Yeah. So when you come on the sensitive information type, if you see here, we are having 327 SITs already created for you. So if you want to use these SITs, you can go ahead. Or if you want to create your own custom SIT, that also we can do. Now, if we see already created, like full names, physical addresses, Amazon S3 client secret access key, Australia driver license number, and so on. Now, they all have a fixed pattern, and accordingly they are classifying your data. Now my agenda is to create it, so I can go in the creation. So let's create one of the SIT. Let it be loaded first. Yeah, so let's give a name. Let's say I'm going with employee IT. You need to give a proper description. Go on the next. Now choose the pattern or create the pattern. Scroll down, add the primary element. What is the way in which you will be classifying your data? Are you using a regular expression? You are going with keyword list. You are going with dictionary or functions. How you will be classifying your information? Let's say I can go with a regular expression when we are having credit card, when we are having employee IDs. Let's say I want to classify, I'm having one ID, this one, and all the rest IDs will be in a similar pattern. I can go with the regular expressions. Keyword list. I want to classify the data or the emails, which let's say I'm going with the viral. Now, when someone is saying I'm having viral, you can give those keywords. It can be a fever, it can be a cold and cough, it can be a headache, body ache. So accordingly, it will classify your information. If you are going with dictionary also, you can go with the dictionaries, you can go with the functions, and accordingly you will classify your information. So your primary element will be the first element on which, or the major criteria on which your data will be classified. Then comes the character proximity. Character proximity comes into the picture when you are having the secondary element also. That scenario, you can go with it. For example, let's say credit card is there and debit card is there. Okay. Now, credit card also have the 16-digit number and debit card will also have a 16-digit number. And my agenda is to classify the credit card. If I have only given the 16-digit number, then it will classify your credit card, it will classify your debit card, maybe it will classify the Aadhaar card and so on. Whosoever will be having a 16-digit numbers. But I don't want to do it. I just want to classify the credit card. Then in the secondary element, you can give the second way of classifying, let's say keywords, or it can be a Visa, it can be a MasterCard, or if you are going with RuPay, anything you can give, and accordingly it will classify when both the things will match. Once they get synced, and then your data will be classified. So this is the data classification of how we are classifying our information, which is present across the M365 locations as well as non-M365 locations. Now, once your first task is done, which will be your data classification, second task that we need to do is your data protection. Now, when we talk about the data protection, as I said, it's only the labels which is being applied on the documents, maybe on the PDFs, maybe on the text, and accordingly it will work. Let's say you have created one of the label, and in that label, you have restricted the edit level access. So whosoever will have this label, they will get that access. Let's say you have stopped the forward or you have stopped the reply. So the person who get that email will not have the forward option, neither he will have the reply option. Or let's say you have applied the watermarks. So watermark will be applied on that document. Now, when we are going with the labels, so these labels are called sensitivity labels. Sensitivity labels, now they can also be applied in two ways. Either you can go in a manual way or you can go in an automated way. Now, can anyone think how the automated can be worked? Just have a look, or you can think like it can be done with the help of the classifiers. Let's say you have given credit card. So whosoever or which maybe document, maybe an email will have that particular information, let's say credit card, will have the label which is secret automatically applied. And according to that label, the functionality will come. But in the manual way, you need to manually apply the labels. They don't have the classifiers. Now, if I want to apply on debit card, I can easily apply it. If I want to apply on, let's say, Aadhaar card, they can easily be applied. But in an automated manner, they are automatically applied. Whoso whatever is having the classifiers, and according to that label, they will work. Now, if we take on the portal, so we have seen the SIT, and let me just cancel it out. If I show you trainable as well, yeah. If you see here in the trainable classifiers, 114 is already created. These are built in. If you want to use it, you can easily use it. Like agreements, asset management, data management, or budget, bank statements, business plans. So they don't have any fixed pattern. So that's why they are considered in the trainable classifiers. You need to give the training data set, you need to give the testing data set, and according to your training data set in testing, the model will be built and it will be working. Now, the second task will be your sensitivity labels. Now, if we navigate on the sensitivity labels, which will be the second step when we are using Purview. So you can see some of the labels are already created. If I want to create one of the label, let's say we are going with secret. The display name will also be the secret. Description, I'm going with secret only. Yeah, going next. Where you want to apply this label. Are you applying the label only on the files? You are applying the labels on the meetings, or you are applying the labels on the emails. So you can choose the area. Now this is the important thing. Control access and watermarking. Yeah. So content marking, in the sense you are going with the headers, you are going with the footers, you are going with the watermarking. Control access means what access you will be giving. As I said, edit level access, or you are going with reply, forward, any of the access you can give to your users. And which, let's say I want to give only the IT people, you can do that as well. So let's go on the first one and let me just show you. Yeah. The permissions are there. If I just assign the permissions, add the users. Now, all of them will have the editor level access. If I just choose the permissions, I can change as well. If I am going with the custom, view rights, edit, save, print. If you're going only the view rights, so all the employees will have the view rights on the information which is having the secret label. If you want to give print, you can go with the print, you can go with the save, reply, and so on. Once it's done, your label is created. But it doesn't mean that your label will be working. No. You need to publish your label, then only the label will work in the organization. So once you apply that label, it will start working in the organization. You can use it. You can see those labels. If I show you in my environment, let me open the mail. So it's my organization mail. If I just click on a new mail, you can see right now it's showing no label. But you can apply the label when you have the labels here. Now, in my case, there is no label published. But once the label is published, I can see it and I can manually apply it. So if you're having automated, they will automatically be applied on your emails when you add that information, when you add that classified information here. So that is just second step that comes into the picture. Now the third step will be your data loss prevention. Now, when I say data loss prevention, stopping your information moving from one place to another. Now, how your data loss prevention will be working? It will work on the classifiers which you have added, maybe the sensitivity labels also. and it will stop your information from being transferred from one place to the another. Maybe you are working in Cloud Dart and you want to transfer that information to Infosys. It will stop it. Or you are uploading that information to your USB. It will stop it. If you are I'm using corporate device and I want to transfer that information to my personal device, it will stop it. How it is stopping? Let's see on the portal. So if I go in the solutions, we will be having the data loss prevention. So if we go in the data loss prevention, let's go on the policies. Now let's create one of the policy. It will be an enterprise application and device, and you can see enhance is coming, financial is coming. If you are going with privacy PII, where these are coming from, the security, or we can say from the trust portals. If you want to do for them, GDPR is there, PII is there, PIPA is there. So accordingly, you can use it. Now I am going with the custom one. I'm just creating one of the custom policy. Let me go on the next, giving it the name. Just let's go on next. Yeah. Admin units, we can assign it on whom we are applying. Now, where you want to apply. You are applying on mail, SharePoint sites, OneDrive accounts, Teams chat, devices, instances, or you're going with on-prem repositories. You can see M365 Copilot and Copilot chat is also here. So if you want to go there, if you want to apply on the Copilot chat, you can go it. So I'm showing one of them. Let's say I want to go on Exchange mails only. Now creating the rule. Now giving the rule name. Description and the condition. Now you can see the content contains insider risk. Your content is not labeled. If you want to stop those information, you can stop it. Or the content is received from sender IP address. So there are various conditions which you can choose in your environment. Accordingly, you can create your DLP. So let's say I'm going with the content contains. Now what it contains? It is having your SIT, it is having your labels, or it is having the trainable classifiers. So if you're going with the trainable classifiers, you can stop it. Let's say I'm going with the threat one, adding here now. What you want to evaluate, just want to evaluate the attachment which is there, you want to evaluate the message, or both the things. I'm going with both. Now we have added the condition. Now what action you want to perform? If you want to add, you want to restrict the access, you want to add the header, you want to remove the footer, you want to remove the header, you can easily, if you want to modify the subject, you can do that. If you want to restrict the access, that also can be done. Now you want to block everyone or only the people outside your organization. You can add it. Now, whenever any employee will be sending the information, which is having a threat as a classifier or as an SIT, will be blocked. The information will not be sent outside the organization. So DLP help you in the data loss prevention and how you can stop any of the information moving maybe outside your organization or maybe the different teams. So that you can do from here. You can add the notification, you can give the alerts. If you want to send it to your security team, you can do that. Just save it and your policy is created. Now, once your policy is created, it will take 24 hours for the policy to work. You can go in the next. Always suggested that go in the simulation mode. Now, why? Because let's say you have created certain policy and that policy is not working, or you want to create for IT team, but you have created for HR team. So in the simulation, you can see that what mistakes we have done, and accordingly, you can remediate it. According to the recommendations, you can check it, you can do the configurations, you can change the configurations, and that policy will be working fine then. Then click on next, and your policy is created. and it will start stopping your employees. It will start giving you the alerts in the respective alert section. If you are working on the security portal, let's say I'm working on the Defender, it will start giving me the information there. It will give me the alerts, it will give me the incidents, and the data will not be sent. So accordingly, let's say Ramesh is sending, I can take the action accordingly. If Rahul is sending, I can take the action accordingly on them. So this is the DLP. Now the fourth step, you have applied DLPs, you have classified your information, you have applied the labels, then comes the data lifecycle, which will be the fourth step, your data governance. How long I can access my data? Let's say maybe 5 years, 2 years. After 5 years, what will happen to my information? Or after 2 years, what will happen to my information, my data, which is having the labels? Now, if you remember, we have studied the sensitivity labels. Similarly, when it comes to a data lifecycle or data governance, we are having the retention labels. Now, retention label will help me how long I want to keep my information. As I said, 2 years, 5 years, maybe after 2 years, I want to delete that data. What you want to do with the data after this specified time? So we have three options in it. Either you want to retain the information, second, you want to delete the information, or third, you want to retain and then delete. Now, how they work? Now, there are some conditions, or we can say some cases. So, when it comes to retention, there are two things. First is your retention label, and second is your retention policy. Now, what's the difference between two? When I'm saying retention label, so retention label will be applied on the specific documents. Let's say only the contracts, only the legal documents, maybe some specified emails, not on the locations. So they are more inclined towards the specific documents. Now, it can be a PDF, it can be a Word file, anything but a specified one. But retention policies are applied on the locations, maybe some SharePoint site, maybe on the emails, maybe on the Teams chat, where you want to apply it. So retention policies will be applied on the locations. Labels will be applied on the specific documents. Now, there, as I said, there are a few conditions, or we can say some cases. I'm having one document, and that document is your legal document, let's say. Now, this document is stored on the SharePoint site. Okay, now legal document is having the retention which says that keep data for 2 years. Okay, and your SharePoint site is having delete data after 1 year. Okay. Now, what do you think? What will happen in this scenario? Location is saying keep the data for, sorry, delete the data for after 1 year, and your document is saying keep the data for 2 years. Now, think what can be the scenario, or what will happen in these cases. So, when this condition happens in the document, and this is a very common conditions, so what will happen in this way? Your retention will win over deletion. First rule. It now, according to our example, so your data, your legal file will be there for 2 years, and then whatever action will be done, that will done. Other files will be deleted after 1 year, but this will be there, your legal document will be there for 2 years. This is the case one. Now let's consider another case. Let's say same legal document is there and it is saying keep data for 2 years, and this file is stored on the SharePoint site, and it is saying keep data for 5 years. Now, in this particular scenario, what will happen? Both want to keep the data, but the duration is different. This legal data, according to legal data, if we go, it will saying 2 years. SharePoint side, it's saying 5 years. Now, in this scenario, longer retention always wins. So your data will be there for 5 years, and after 5 years, the information will be deleted. Now let's consider one more scenario when we have both the delete options. Same legal document, stored at some SharePoint site. It is saying delete data after 3 years, and this is saying delete data after 1 year. Now, in this scenario, what will happen? Will the data will be deleted after 3 years or after 1 year? If we go with retention, like longer retention is the same, like longer deletion will win? No, it's opposite. Now, when I say opposite, it means shorter deletion will win. The third rule says shorter deletion wins. So your data will be deleted after 1 year. So just giving you all in one way. First, we discussed retention wins over deletion. Second is longer retention wins. And the third one was shorter deletion wins. So these are the three cases, and if any of the cases come into the environment, it will work in this manner. Now, let's say deletion is saying or the retention is saying keep the data, delete data after 5 years. John is there. According to the retention policies or according to just a label, it is saying delete the data in 2 years. But what John did, it deleted data after 30 days. Now, whether the data will be deleted or whether the data will be retained. So, explanation wins over deletion. So, implicit. If I want to delete the data, I can easily delete it, whatever, irrespective of the retention label policies or the labels. So explicit wins over implicit. So if I want to delete the data in 10 days, the data will be deleted. If I want to delete the data for after 2 days, it will be deleted. But by default, whatever retention label is set, whatever policies are being set, it will work. Now let's have that thing on the portal also. So what we'll do, we'll go in the data lifecycle management. Now, when we come in the data lifecycle management, you can see retention labels. How long to keep the data, or after a particular time you want to delete it. So if I create one of the label, I'm giving deletion only. Now retain, you want to retain the information after a specific time. You want to apply the actions, or you just want to delete, or you just want to label it. You can choose it. Let's say I want to enforce. Yeah, going on the next. Now from when the 7 years will start? When your item is created, when the item is last modified, or when the item is labeled. So you can choose it. Let's say when the item is created only, then after 7 years, what you want to do? You want to delete the data automatically, or you want to change the data. So you can choose the condition and that condition will work. So whosoever will have that label, it will be deleted after 7 years. Similarly, if you are going with retention, so after your label is created or after the label is applied, the data will be there in your system for 2 years, maybe for 3 years, or whatever time frame you have set up. So once it's done, you can just save it and the label will be created. So these are the 4 steps when we work with the Purview. First one we have discussed is the data classification. After classifying your data, second step is your data protection, in which we have applied the labels. Third step is a data leakage protection, or we can say data loss prevention, in which you have applied the TLPs. And the fourth step is your data governance, where you have applied the sensitivity retention labels and created their respective policies. Now, these all the things are done on the information. But what about the employees? Let me give you an example. Let's say I'm working in XYZ company. Now, when I'm working in XYZ company and my manager is Peter, I'm reporting to Peter. So I was assigned a task and that task need to be submitted by EOD. Okay. Now, what I did, I just created, I was exhausted doing that work, but I did my task by 12, let's say AM. And I was feeling drowsy, but I want to send the email to maybe Peter. Instead of Peter, what I did, I sent it to one of my clients. And he was, let's say the client name was Manoj, and he was working in ABC company. Now, my behavior will be considered as risky. Or what I did, I was serving the notice period. This is the one condition. Let's take another condition. I was serving the notice period and I was working on the storage account. Okay. Now, when I was working the storage account, what I did, I start downloading the files in my USB. That will again a fishy behavior. So how to stop these fishy behaviors from the employee side? Data transfer will be stopped with the help of the DLPs. But how to stop your employees in doing such things? In that scenario, we come with another service of Purview only. That is your insider risk management. If you want to stop your internal risk, what your employees are doing, how they are doing, if you want to stop the external risk, we can go with the DLPs. But when you want to stop your internal risk, when you want to stop your insider risk, we go with the insider risk management. We need to connect with the respective data connectors, and after connecting with that data connectors, that will work. Let's say, as I said, Nikita is there and she is serving her notice period. Now, what they will do, they will create one policy here. That policy will say monitor, let's say, notice period employees. And from where it will fetch the data? From the HR. So you will be requiring HR as one of the data connector. So once the HR upload that, okay, Nikita is serving her notice period, or Rahul is serving his notice period, Peter is serving the notice period, this policy become active. And it will fetch the data from here and it will start monitoring the user behavior and stop them, or if any fishy happens, it will stop them there. Let's go on the portal and let's just have a look on it. If I go in the solutions, you can see insider risk management. You can see here insider risk management. Let's go here. Then we'll need to navigate on the policies. Let me go with the custom policy, not custom one. Let me show you with the quick policy. Quick policy means already created policy. You can see data leaks, how you can stop your employees, or data theft from M365 when the users are going out, critical asset protection, and so on. So if we go up here, okay, it's unable to create, but you can see the settings, you can see the triggering point, you can see the indicators. Now, what indicators you will be using in your environment, we'll see that as well. Okay, it's not working. Let me go with the custom one. Now, data theft from departing users. Now, if you want to do that, these connectors will be required. HR data connector, device should be onboarded, your physical badging connectors, cloud applications, what applications they are accessing, and so on. You can see their triggering event, what activities they've been downloading the files from the SharePoint, printing the files, copying the data from some of the personal storage services. You can do that. If someone is going with risky usage, you can do that as well. Now, what will be the data detected? Risky prompts in the Copilot, sensitive responses. You want to stop your employees, please go and create your insider risk policy. Now, if I go on the next, you need to give the name. So I'm giving risky policy only for the time being. Description. All users for whom you are creating it. You want to exclude some of the users or groups, you can just add them. Now, which data you want, from which data you want to do. You want to go on the SharePoint sites, on the sensitivity labels, maybe in info types, some file extensions are there, trainable classifiers are there. You can choose it. Right now I'm going with this. Now, what will be the triggering events? Inappropriate messages detected. User account deleted from Intra ID, or user is browsing some risky websites. Those you want to do, you can do it, you can add it. And now whenever the user is trying to do such things, you will be notified, or your compliance team will be notified for the same. Data laws, generative AI applications, risky browser indicators. You can add it, create the policy, and start protecting your information and restricting your users from doing something fishy. Let's take one more scenario and yeah. There is one employee and his name is Peter. Now, Peter complained that Manoj is his manager. Manoj is harassing me. Very common cases. You all have heard what is POSH. You all know how it is working and what are the different areas that POSH can be done. So let's say this is the scenario. Manoj is saying Peter is saying Manoj is harassing me. Let's take one more example. There is one girl, his name is Minnie. She's saying Manoj is harassing me and Minnie applied the POSH on him. So how the HR team work? In that scenarios, they go with the e-discovery. E-discovery is one of the tool which help the companies to get the information, whatever maybe they are she is doing on the team, like Manoj is doing on the teams or any of the location. It will help you to generate or to get the we can say proofs, so that you can say to the Manoj, okay, you have done this, we have the proof. If Manoj has, let's say Manoj did also, so how we can stop Manoj? Maybe Manoj can manipulate the proofs, so it will lock those communication. Now, I'm not saying only the teams, it can be on the Outlook, it can be anywhere, it will stop it. It will lock all those conversations between Manoj and Peter, and let's say between Manoj and Mini also, and trying to get all the proofs with the appropriate or with the appropriate keywords. Now, when they are going with the appropriate keywords or anyway, when we are going, so there will be a one manual, or we can say a one person will be required. Why? Can you think why? Because let's say Manoj has given one statement, I on meet me outside. Now, maybe from according to the system, it's an harassment, but might be it's not. It's a general statement. Then how to do or how to resolve this? So one person will be required who will review it and will run or will get to a conclusion. Okay, this is just a statement. It's not an harassment. So we are not trusting on the AI. AI is helping us in leveraging our work. But whenever we are working with them, or whenever we are doing with the e-discovery, we are going with the communication compliance, we need to cross-check the results. So this way, your Purview is working in helping you in doing the data protection from data classification till your data retention, protecting the data stored on maybe let's say M365 location or on non-M365 locations. But to do that, first thing that we need to do is start the audit. Audit means to record or to capture the user activities. So if I show you on the portal, if you go on the first, you can see audit is there. So we need to start the audit and then it will be working. You can see certain need to start it. In my case, you can say start recording the user and admin activity. From here only, they will start get the results. Now, if you go in the e-discovery also, yeah, they need to file a case. It's just like a court case. They will file a case, and after filing the case, they will add the resources from where they want to fetch the information, what information they want to fetch. Maybe they are adding some SITs, maybe they are using some classifiers, or maybe they are going with their custom ones also, adding the details and then getting the records, then getting the proofs, keeping the information on the hold, and then fetching all the information there. So that's all about the module 4.
We hope this module helped you gain a clear understanding of Microsoft Services, Trust Portal, privacy principles, data security, transparency and compliance concepts. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.